Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It's November 19th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And we started off with a fairly strong trend down. We had a break here, close outside of our trend line. We actually had one up here. A lot of times when you get one in the overnight like this, you can kind of ignore it. When we kept going this long and the trend line kept holding, you had to assume that you'd probably try to make a new low when we got the break here. That's the way I'd want to play that. And you had to be careful with all the support across here at this level too. See all the support back into yesterday. So you had to be aware of that as well. But we did push on through there, and then the next support was down here around 31.12, 31.13, and you can see that across here. And that's what you're going to look for, your next support level. And of course we reversed. And when we first started down here, you're looking that we're probably going to fill this gap. We just kept going, so it was pretty weak there early on. But we found some support down here, and we pretty much just went we rallied a little bit and then just kind of went sideways after that. So you just kind of had to play your short-term trends after that. Not much else you could do. So, and really you had to play them all day anyway, because the bigger pattern is we're really trading most of the day inside the overnight highs and lows. So other than this big early downtrend, you almost had to kind of treat this like a range day, and you could trade it both ways pretty much after that point. So not a lot of trades today. Not a hard day by any means. And there's plenty of trades today. So I'm going to back out a little bit where we can see a little better, and we'll go through the trades. But you can see early on we had a pretty good trend down here. So 7 o'clock came right here. I marked this green. Being right at the 7 o'clock hour and not being any better setup than that, I'd probably skip this trade. But it's a possibility if you want to be a little aggressive. Notice that you got a close outside here in a new high. So you could expect this to maybe reverse. But notice you're coming back first entry and then second entry. And you don't really get a setup here, so you don't want to take any second entries. And then notice how it fails almost instantly. When it broke lower there, that's a failed second entry long. It's not a perfect reversal. We did push through, but it's somewhat of a reversal pattern, so you may take that trade. Notice that we got another second entry short right here. And normally this is very bullish bar right here. But notice again, you got a double top and then a first entry and then a second entry. It went nowhere. It actually broke lower here first, and like it was going to trap people to the long side. But this was just a long trap. And notice we're all below the EMA. And that's really your first close outside this trend line. But it's still in the overnight session. And a lot of times you can kind of ignore those breaks if the trend continues on and that trend line continues to hold. And that's not uncommon. But I like going short there. Just looking for it to run down, maybe make a new low. But this thing just keeps going. Notice that we do get a break, and now we got an overshoot here too, so you got to be a little bit careful. But notice that it comes back to the trend line. It gives you such a bearish bar. This one is real close to being green. I went in and marked it red because it pretty much is back to the EMA, back to the trend line. It's a small bar. There's only a few ticks in there. Very bearish. Of course, it continues on. And you could really look at this as a double top. So a first entry, second entry, and again, it's right off. Only problem is now you're going a little bit sideways. Again, you could probably argue for that to at least be green because it is a failed second entry long. And we don't care so much about the bar, the signal bar at that point, because it's probably going to trap people. Although this thing is strongly down, so I doubt you're going to trap too many people trying to get long right there. Notice it just keeps going. Same thing here, but now you got a double bottom. I'd skip that one. And we did fill the gap too now. We actually filled it here. But now we're kind of working underneath it. But notice we keep working down, then first entry, and then second entry. And you got a little double top with a failed break higher. Small bar again. I like that on the second entry short. You got enough room to scalp out. And then we come back again. You don't really have any room here. You're just kind of going short into those lows. You don't get a really good long either. And then notice that you got another second entry short. Notice that new low, first entry, second entry. And we did push on lower, and we're not getting back to the highs. So notice how we're making lower high, lower high, lower high. There's a good chance we're breaking lower. And regardless, you got enough room to get out here. So I like that trade too. It's a little bit aggressive because you're back inside the range, but I think that one's worth the risk if you want to be a little aggressive. And look at it go. Turns out to be a great trade. At this point, you're just trying to get a scalp out of it. But if it keeps going, which it could, we could get a, notice we got a little two-legged correction there. That could be the center of the pattern. Doesn't turn out to be the case today, but I'd be looking for that possibility. And so that may make this, if you catch the next move down, it may make it worthwhile. Any further down here, you're just too far away from the EMA. And in fact, if this wasn't a side-by-side bar, you may take that. You're better off to wait on a lower, higher low here to make sure, because trying to pick bottoms is just a losing strategy. So you want a reversal pattern, or at the very least, you want to be way away from the EMA with a good signal bar, and we don't get that here. So wait on your reversal. Notice we push right through the EMA, first entry short, second entry short, it fails, and that's also a second entry long and a relatively bullish bar. Just go long right there. And again, you catch another reversal and another strong move up. Anything else up through here, you're too far away from the EMA. Just too risky. Notice it would have worked, but you just can't count on that because too many times it won't work. And if you you don't take it this time and you see it work, next time you take it and you say, okay, I missed, I've sat here and watched that one go without me that last time, so next time I'm taking it. And the next time you take it and boom, it reverses on you almost instantly, and you're in a world of hurt. So just because it was a big move doesn't mean it was a great trade, which it wasn't. So you just had to skip that. And again, you get way away from the EMA, and you just don't get a good signal bar. I mean, that big bearish bar right there, you might let it break lower and then drop a limit order right here, and it may have filled you, and because you're almost for sure coming back to the EMA, but it could push up one more time. So it always makes it a little risky, but being that far away from the EMA, you may make that one green. I just wouldn't like that big signal bar. I wouldn't want to risk that much. I'd want to let it break lower and below this bar, and then drop my limit order back up in here somewhere and see if it doesn't come back some, because that's just so far away from the EMA. Look how far prices don't stay away, especially on an overshoot right there. I mean, you can see this channel's holding all the way up, those two bars, and then suddenly it pushes up. And look how quickly it shoots back down. And you shoot right through the EMA. First entry short, you're moving up second entry short. There's a nice second entry short there. Big bearish bar. And I'd look for a second leg down similar to that one. Just measure that one. And we didn't quite get it, but that's pretty, we almost did in the end, but we didn't quite get it. But that's still a great setup. It looks like you might be getting a reversal here, but notice we're all below the EMA. Even though it works, you don't want to take that trade. It's too much. Look how sideways that is. At least one doji. That's a perfect doji. That's just congestion. So it's probably going to break out of there and fail. And so it does. It breaks out of there. I don't have my lines there, but you can. You can see that resistance right there. Little congestion area. We break out, it fails, comes right back and gets in there and resets kind of. So you may take that to the short. You could look at that almost as a double test, because notice how we pulled back and tested that then once, twice. Plus it's a failed break out of this. It looked like there was a trend channel there, but I think it's just two legs down. And this was really your trend with a break and a new low. So I think it's just, you can remove that because it just really didn't come into play. And then we're working up, and we just talked about that. The breakout, the double test, big bearish bar, and it's another nice move down. And then of course we bounce here. There's a higher low here, but we're still making lower highs all the way down, and so I'm not crazy about that one. Um, Trying to go long there just yet because you may break higher and turn right back down. So wait on your true reversal, which comes right here. When this bar broke, actually it's right here. It actually went lower first and then turned and went out. That's a second entry, failed second entry short. And you could have waited on this one. And when it came back again and broke lower below that bearish bar and turned back up, I'd go long right there. You did have to worry about this resistance right here, especially when we touched it again. I wouldn't be so much concerned about it here, but definitely when we turn back down here, I would be. But when that breaks lower and turns back up, if you've got enough room right there, take that trade because they've probably trapped people. As bearish as that looks, and it breaks one tick lower and instantly reverses, and you can tell it trapped people because look how it pushed up. And a lot of times they'll do that to push through this hard resistance. They were having a hard time getting back through there, and they trapped these people, and they use those trapped shorts to start buying and getting back in, and that's what runs it up again. And so that's a great trap here. I just like this one because it went short first, and when it broke above, we're probably going to push on up. It looks like a reversal. It really like we were going to reverse, which we did reverse out. We didn't go very far, but we reversed out of there. You did get your break here and a new high. You pushed up, and now there's your lower high. And that's what you really want to see. Sure, you could take a chance right here, but what if you'd have taken a chance right here? You'd have got burned. Of course, now you got two legs up, but a lot of times you'll make that one more push up. So, again, you could argue for that maybe to be green, but I'd tell you most of the time, unless you've been running resistance across there for almost all day, and I'm gonna wait on that lower high. And there it is right there. It actually broke higher, turns. When it breaks lower there, just go short. And that was another nice short. And that took you in a 2 o'clock hour. So again, just to recap, it's for the most part, we had a big downtrend early on, but it ended early in the morning by 10 o'clock. And then we had a little bit of a rally. We took about half of that back, and then we just went sideways from there. So we really spent most of the day in between the overnight highs and lows, which makes this a range day in the big picture. But I wouldn't start trading this both ways until right in here, and then you could pretty much trade that both ways. Here it was all downhill, and from right here it was mostly uphill until right in here. So I mean, this is a big enough, even if you called this a range day, I mean, the lows are at 31.17 and the highs are at 31.32. So that's a fairly large range, and it's big enough you could get some really nice trends just like this right here. And this wasn't a bad trend right here. And so not a bad day, not too difficult of a day, especially if you traded early. You could have caught a couple of these moves down. Maybe been done earlier today. But that's pretty much it for today. So I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.